You know, buried just beneath the surface of modern Europe, there's this forgotten world of concrete and steel. It's a massive, secret network of fortifications from World War II. So today, we're going to dive into the story of these lost bunkers. We'll look at why they were built, the absolutely colossal effort it took, and maybe most intriguingly, why so many of them are still hidden today.
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to kick things off with a pretty incredible discovery in Poland that really brought all of this lost history back into the light. Then we'll get into the strategy. Why go underground in the first place? After that, we'll zoom in on Hitler's absolutely massive Atlantic Wall, see how the Allies managed to fight back, and finally, we'll explore why these hidden structures still have such a powerful legacy.
So our story starts in a really dense forest in southern Poland with a discovery that, well, nobody saw coming.
So picture this. An excavation team is out there working in the shadow of this ancient dead volcano, and they find something that just doesn't belong. It's a single rusted pipe sticking right out of the forest floor. I mean, in this totally wild, overgrown place, it was a complete anomaly. So of course, they had to know what was down there. They grabbed a camera and sent it down into the darkness.
And 30 meters down, the night vision camera cuts through the dark and reveals something just astonishing. A massive, man-made tunnel. But what was inside was even crazier. A fully intact mine track, and get this, a mine cart was still sitting on it, almost like the crew just walked away for a minute. When they checked the old maps, it all clicked into place. This was a lost Nazi bunker, hidden for 80 years, its entrance sealed up on purpose and just swallowed by the forest.
Now, this discovery in Poland, it wasn't a one-off, not at all. During World War II, both the Axis and the Allied powers went on this massive global campaign of underground construction. Which leads to the big question, right? Why? What was the huge strategic advantage of digging in and going underground?
Well, it really boiled down to two main reasons. First, you had your defensive bunkers. Think of these as impenetrable fortresses, right? They were built to hold territory and just soak up insane amounts of punishment from artillery and airstrikes. The most famous example of this, the Atlantic Wall, for sure. Then, on the other hand, you had command bunkers. These were the secret nerve centers of the war, places designed to protect leadership and let generals plan their next moves in total secrecy.
And the sheer scale of this whole effort it's just mind-blowing. The construction was so huge that some people estimate it would cost nearly $1 trillion in today's money. $1 trillion! I mean, this wasn't just some line item in a military budget. This was an undertaking that actually caused global shortages of stuff like iron and cement. They were literally reshaping their economies just to build these hidden fortresses.
And all of that, well, it leads us to the single most ambitious bunker project of the entire war, the Atlantic Wall. This was basically Hitler's answer to the looming threat of an Allied invasion from the sea.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around this. For 4 years, the Nazis were just pouring concrete and steel along 2,400 miles of coastline, all the way from the fjords of Norway down to the border with Spain. It was this brutal concrete wall against the ocean, a fortress designed to make any invasion attempt a total suicide mission.
And the human cost of building this thing was just staggering. It was built by over 250,000 workers, and the vast majority of them were forced laborers and prisoners of war, working in just absolutely brutal conditions to make this colossal vision a reality.
And let's be clear, this was way more than just a simple wall. It was an interconnected web of death. You had thousands of individual bunkers, massive concrete fortresses packed with heavy artillery, and these huge tunnel networks linking everything together. It was a deadly defensive machine, and the Allies knew. They knew that breaking it was going to be one of the bloodiest challenges of the entire war. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do you attack something that was literally designed to be unbreachable? For the Allies, the Atlantic Wall wasn't just some barrier. It was one of the greatest military challenges of the entire 20th century.
Their first major attempt, the Dieppe raid in 1942. Well, it was an absolute catastrophe. The German crossfire coming from those bunkers just decimated the landing force. It was a brutal, brutal lesson, but it was a necessary one. The Allies realized they needed a completely different strategy. So for the next 2 years, they invested heavily in intelligence, they developed new tactics, like special bunker-busting tanks, and they used their own command bunkers to plan the perfect attack. All of which led to D-Day, where 156,000 troops finally broke through.
And this really shows you a fundamental difference in philosophy, right? The Axis powers, especially Germany and Japan, they saw bunkers mostly as tools for defense and surprise attacks. Think of the Atlantic Wall or those deadly tunnels on Iwo Jima. The Allies, on the other hand, they prioritized command and control. They created these secure underground headquarters, like the Churchill War Rooms, to protect their leadership and carefully plan out the war from a safe place.
So after the war ends, thousands of these bunkers, they just vanish from sight. They get swallowed by the earth, which of course begs the question, how does something that massive just get lost?
Well, it turns out there are a few key reasons. For starters, a lot of them were brilliantly camouflaged from day one. Then, as armies retreated, they would often seal up or destroy the entrances on purpose, to hide them forever. And this is a big one. The secret documents, the maps showing where they all were, a lot of those were burned to keep them from falling into enemy hands. And finally, over the last 80 years, nature just did its thing, burying these concrete giants under layers of soil and trees.
And this quote right here, it perfectly illustrates just how insane the level of secrecy was. I mean, take Hitler's main headquarters on the Eastern Front, the Wolfslair. Its roof was 7 meters thick with solid concrete. And yet, it was so well camouflaged with dirt and trees that Allied spy planes flew over it all the time and never once spotted it. It was a fortress designed to be totally invisible, a ghost on the landscape.
That discovery, back in Poland, proves that this hidden history is still out there, just waiting to be found. And it really makes you wonder, right? As we walk through forests and fields today, what other incredible secrets from our past are still buried, just a few feet beneath our feet?